Hello friends, we're back here with the Fender Bassman, and good news, the owner has green lit the project. So we are a go on the restoration project here, and this is going to be great. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of work, but this amp definitely deserves it. So I'm really stoked that we are moving forward with it. So if you guys haven't seen the first video, check it out, kind of go through everything in more detail than I'm going to do in this video. Really, this video is all about just kind of notating any parts that we need to change, checking all the resistor values, and putting together a parts list here, and then we'll get that stuff ordered, and hopefully it'll come here pretty quick so we can get started on this project. The owner has already purchased a replacement power transformer from Mercury Magnetics, so that'll be great. It's the exact part number replacement that they make, so this will fit perfectly, and then he'll have this Vibrolux power transformer to sell and recoup some of that cash with, so that should work out okay for him. There's a lot of stuff in here that we pointed out already. I'm going to look at everything a bit closer. And yeah, we got to, as always, the layout drawing here on my phone. I'm just going to start. You can see I've already started highlighting and marking notes and everything on what we need to address. And if I spot anything as we're going along, I will bring you guys in and kind of highlight and show that to you guys. But for now, probably just a time lapse of me methodically checking everything. So right off the rip, I was just going through the pots and noticed a couple really poor solder joints. So they look possibly factory. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But let's go ahead and zoom in and see if you can see it for yourselves. So the first one would be right here. And hopefully you guys can see that. But the solder is very, very poorly connected there. And the wire, I can probably just pull it straight out if I tried to. So definitely need to retouch that. There's a pretty poor solder joint right here, which you can't see right there. And then this lead wire right here, this is not factory. We will be replacing this with cloth wire, similar to everything else in the amplifier. And then over here at the input jacks, hopefully you can see this, the connection here is pretty poor. You can see it's breaking a little bit right there. So definitely want to redo this. Now, I did also notice that according to the schematic here in my hand, this should, so I can pull it up here, there should only be 1 meg resistor here, and this is wired, both input jacks have 1 meg resistors. This giant glob of solder I pointed out in the first video, and I thought, maybe this is a Friday amp. To me, that tells me this is a aftermarket or a third-party modification there, so we will be reverting this back to the stock unless I find an example of a vintage one that has that same thing. We'll be reverting this back to stock. Anything else here real quick while I've got it pointed this way? So obviously this whole kind of mess here, whoops. So basically we got the master volume mod here. We will be removing this and taking care of all the wires there. But in installing a new input jack and wiring it again per spec, which will mean kind of replacing whatever's going on here. This was, I believe, a kind of workaround because the 2 input jacks are tied together. And if you only plug into one, I can't remember all the details behind it. It's a bit complicated on how the Fender high-low input jacks work together. But yeah, they are a system together. So this was some kind of workaround they did. So we will be bypassing, probably taking out this, looks like a 1.1 meg there, and just redoing that per Fender spec. So that'll be fun because I know I've never actually done that before, and I know it can be very tedious doing the input jacks. So that'll be a nice little experience for us. And then moving on down further here, we can see another kind of poor connection here. I don't know if you can see that. You can see there's a little crack hole there, so we will be fixing that up. And then this connection too is not great either. So basically we're just going to be hitting all of these with fresh solder and making sure they're super solid. But that's what I noticed there, so I'm going to get back to work and point out anything else I find. So here's something a bit odd that I noticed as I'm going through this with the schematic. And this is the correct schematic. This is a 6G6 because only the 6G6 has the tube rectifier, which this has. But if we go here and we see we got the two cathode bypass caps here. We got the resistors flanking in either side that you can't see. We've got this resistor right here, should be a 1 meg. This right here, that was a replaced carbon film. And then from here, so from this eyelet, which is right here, to this eyelet, which is right here, we've got the cap. This has been replaced. I can't make out the measure or the value on this. I don't really know how to read these yet. 330-J N180 100 volt. I can't really tell what that is, so probably gonna have to replace that, especially because the install is not great. It's not into the eyelet. It's tied to the resistor, if you can see that. But that's a less concerning. So that's this right here. And then if we look right here, this eyelet is right there. And then this resistor and this resistor are clearly not original. You can see how they're installed pretty sloppily. But they're going to an eyelet that doesn't exist. So on this, here's the eyelet right there that this resistor is going to. So it's going from here to there. And that does not exist. So I don't know what's going on there. It's a giant pool of solder. And I can't tell if there's an eyelet there or not. Now, it's not completely unheard of, I imagine, for, there to be some discrepancies between the schematic and the actual amp, although I know that more from, the 70s era versus the very, very early 60s like this. But maybe I got to do some more research and see. But this wire right here, this is going off of the volume pot, which you can see it is right here. So this is correct. And it should be going to an eyelet, basically, that's saying it's right. Well, actually, it's not even an eyelet. It's showing here, I believe that means it's going into a hole, like this one is here. So there should be a hole there, and then it pops out and ends up at this eyelet. So I don't really know what's going on here. We'll have to remove the solder and see what's what. And then there's an added resistor, and this right here. So this says, I think it's supposed to be a 56K, and what is blue is 6, so 60. This is a 68K. Sometimes it's hard to read these, but that's almost definitely not a 68K marking there. So it looks like they are getting the 56K, but either way, we will be cleaning all that up. So just another interesting thing. And then here we've got these gigantic blue molded caps. These are not what you traditionally see. You see these all over in the blackface era that everybody wants, but I've never seen ones these size. These are 0.25s. So we're hoping that those are going to be solid and not need to be replaced, because that's a pretty iconic cap there. But anyways, onward. And another thing here that I'm not sure, I've never seen before, but again, I got to do some more research and see if that's normal or not. We can see we got the little triangle here, 100K, 100K, 1 meg, and then we got a wire, and this has clearly been touched up. This solder joint is definitely not factory, but we can see there's a wire here, and that's going through this hole, and that's right where the doghouse is. And we do not see that here in the schematic. We do see a black, which it does show that grommet there, and there's the black right there. But nothing showing that connection. Now it does say A above it, which tells me, I believe, that I should be able to see in the, yeah, so here we go. So here's the doghouse, and you got B and you've got A here. So that might be correct. Again, I'm gonna have to try and find some photos of some other ones to make sure I'm understanding correctly, because I don't know why they wouldn't show that in the layout when they do all the other wires, but that could be possibly okay. So we're just going to mark a little, my own legend. I got my own color legend. Okay, so I've gone through the amplifier top to bottom and feel pretty confident in the next steps we're going to be taking here. Now, there are a few things that I can't make out really on the layout and schematic. The lettering is just too small. I can't tell, like, for example, what that's supposed to say. And so I need to do some research offline to figure out and confirm some of the values that some of these things are supposed to be. And then we've got replace parts. And we've got a lot of replace parts in here actually that do not match what the layout is supposed to be. For example, this resistor right here calls for 100K, and in this case it is green blue. So what is that? 56 orange. Orange is a 1K, so 56K I think, right there, which is obviously half that value. So yeah, there's been a lot of finagling with the circuit here, and we're just going to go completely back to stock. And then from there, we can kind of determine if we want to do anything else to it. But I really believe, if you haven't heard the amplifier stock, let's start there and see what we think. And then, live with it a little bit, honestly, is the best way to do it. And then, decide if it needs to be tweaked in one way or another. But, if you've never heard the amplifier in the way Leo intended, well, you don't really know. So that's my philosophy, at least. So with that in mind, let's just quickly go through the list and kind of one side to the next as far as what we have planned to be done to this. It's quite a lot. And so we'll start here. We got both of the bias caps will be replaced, new electrolytics. There's a diode back there that will be replaced. The resistors here all tested fine. We will be adding a trim pot to make this adjustable bias. The power transformers obviously being swapped already. We talked about that already. The mercury magnetics swap. The death cap here we will likely remove. 3-prong swap. And then continuing on, the 470 ohm resistors here. They both tested actually okay, but this one looks pretty roasted to me. So we're just going to replace both of those. The standby switch is gone. We've got a lot of solder joints and stuff we need to clean up over here. And then we got to remove this master volume kind of mod here and hopefully be able to reach these leads from back into the eyelets they're supposed to go, or we'll just do little J-hooks and get that sorted out. But got to disconnect this. New second input jack for this is the normal channel, right? Yeah, for the normal channel. And then the jacks need to be rewired with the 1 meg and the 68Ks together. So all that needs to be redone. These resistors, I need to lift the legs of to confirm the values there with those ones, but those are obviously swaps. As you can see, they're kind of lifted up, which is not what you would see from the factory. Moving on down the line here, a couple other things I need to check the values of. For example, this resistor back here, this is a swap as well, and it's not actually in the eyelet sitting on top. So yeah, I need to lift a leg on that and confirm the values there. This cap right here, I need to confirm the value of. Moving on down the line, make sure I'm not missing anything here. Let's see. This resistor right here, I cannot tell what it reads in the schematic. I can't tell what that number is. Whoops. Where am I at? I cannot tell what that's supposed to say. So it looks like that's a 470K next to it, which is what it measured. This one is replaced, and this is a, red, yellow, so 220K. Is that right? Yeah, 220K. That does not look like it says 220K to me, but I can't tell what it does say. So I need to figure that out still. This lead right here, we will be replacing with a cloth black wire to make that look more factory original. Lots of stuff going on here. This cap is not part of the original circuit. And as an add-on, we're going to replace both of these just to make this done properly. I can't read the value on it. And yeah, we'll just redo those and make that correct. It's got a giant bus wire here that was added in, and these both are kind of wrapped around it. It's just not done very well, so we'll be redoing that. This resistor right here is a 56K, and it should be 100K. Moving on here, I was incorrect about what this was going for. I saw 10, and I still can't totally see what the values of these caps are because they're right on top of each other where the value is. But I assumed this was supposed to be another 25 microfarad, 25 volt like this is here, cathode bypass cap. But it is not, according to the layout here. This should be a 0.1. So this might have been a blue molded cap right there. So I need to find an original example photo to confirm what that's supposed to look like and swap that accordingly. Let's see what it's. Oh, this one right as well. So this position right here looks like it's also supposed to be a blue molded. According to this, it's supposed to be a 0.1. So possibly we're missing 2 blue moldeds. I'm not 100% sure, but we will look into that. And then these resistors here, these series set of series resistors stacked on top of each other. We already talked about those. Those are gone and will be redone. And then this cathode bypass cap, obviously gone as well. And then moving on here, we've got a 0.1. I'm hoping this wire is not totally jacked up, but it looks like there's a lot of solder there, so we'll see. But that is a, oh, sorry, excuse me. So this is supposed to be a 0.1, but is a 0.047 here. So this could have been replaced. I guess that would explain that. So they probably just bought a blue molded and swapped it in here. Let me mark that on my phone before I forget. So this is supposed to be a 0.1 and it is a 0.047. That is unfortunate. Okay, so we might have a few blue molded swaps here. Moving on down the line, I think I pointed this out already. This lead right here is not written on the layout here. There is an A, which if we go over to the schematic here, right here, this wire grommet is for the main filter caps, and we do see an A there. So I need to confirm, but that possibly means that is a connection there, although it is weird that they wouldn't show the drawing of the wire like they have everywhere else on this layout. So I'm not 100% sure there, but we will look into that further. I guess I should not have just assumed all the blue moldeds were correct. 0.05, 0.047, so that's fine. And then this mess over here I already talked about, so we need to replace a 56K here and figure out this whole lead in this mystery eyelet that doesn't exist according to the layout. This cap needs to be replaced. This 1 meg needs to be replaced. Both of these cathode bypass caps need to be replaced. The resistors under there are measured fine, so those are all okay. We've got an extra 1 meg here on the input of the base channel. I believe, at least according to the layout, there should only be 1. There's 2 there. And then, let's see, let me just check my notes real quick. Oh, and the fuse in it is a 2 amp, should be a 3 amp. And I think that does it. The resistors in the doghouse all measured fine, though I'm not 100% sure if the order is correct on those. I need to double check that. Wow, okay, I think I got it all. There's a lot that needs to be done here. So yeah, I'm going to start putting together in a parts list order and see what that looks like. And then, yeah, this is going to be a major restoration project, but I'm looking forward to it. I think this amp deserves it, and it will look really great and perform fantastic once we're all done. It's just going to take a little bit. So that does it. Yeah, I think we'll end there. It's too late to do anything. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Stick around if you are interested in following along with the series. Please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and until next time, see ya.